And stagecraft for me comes in a variety of different ways. The first way is the basic way when you're speaking, which is to know that your most powerful position is stillness. And we may not have talked about high status, low status. High status is when you control the status in the room. You have the highest status because you're holding the power with stillness. You're holding it with pausing, which is what I'm doing right now. You're gesturing when you want to, which is what I'm doing right now. And sometimes one body part at a time, just what I did there. And when you move with purpose. That's high status. Low status is different. Low status is what I just did, where you touch yourself, where you're not completely still, where you may be wandering back and forth, where you may be touching your hands, not making direct eye contact. Let's just say that high status is making direct eye contact with your audience. And that's low status. Now, neither is better or worse. It's just you want to be in control of it. So high status is when you want to control the room. Low status is when you want to give status to the audience, when you want to let them know that, hey, I'm just like you, everything is fun, there's no pressure here. Comedians do it all the time, all right? You can use that as a method to gain the audience to you. Relax the atmosphere and let them know that you're a human being. High status, once again, is when you want to let them know who has the power, the authority, and who is the leader in the room. That's when you elevate your status, right? So the most powerful position, the highest status, is stillness. Now, as you're doing your speech, you want to create a triangle. Remember we talked about that, all right? And so once you've created that triangle and you practice your speech, you want to make use of the triangle as you're speaking. The reason why you want to use this triangle, I call it the magic triangle, is because you want to balance the room. If I spend all my time on this side, and you'd be surprised, I saw one of the greatest comedians in the world, Paul Mooney, do this, where he spent a lot of time on one side. Now, he's Paul Mooney, he's a genius. If you don't know who Paul Mooney is, he writes for Dave Chappelle, he wrote for Richard Pryor. But what happens is when you spend so much time on this side of the audience, this side of the audience feels left out. And this side of the audience is a little uncomfortable because they're wondering, why are you just focusing on us, right? So what you want to do is balance it out. You want to give some here. You can do it for a while, but you also want to give some equal time to this side as you're speaking, and some equal time to this side as you're speaking. So you want to do it as an exercise where you speak to the diagonal to your left, some of your talk straight in front of you, and then to the diagonal on your right. Also, you can move into your audience on a diagonal, right? You can move into them on a diagonal, which is a lot more interesting to look at than to go side to side, even though side to side is fine too. But it's more powerful when you come into the audience as opposed to going side to side. But when you do that, you want to do it on a diagonal, okay? The other thing is, in stagecraft, as you begin to describe different worlds. Now, for you, you're going to be behind a podium. So you're really just going to be probably using the triangle a lot. And remember, making eye contact with individual audience members, because when you make eye contact with one member, the whole audience feels you're speaking to them. And so that's very important. Now, the other thing is, if the podium wasn't there, if you ever do the same talk and the podium is not there, you can create worlds on the stage. So what do I mean by that? So you first mentioned back home in Cordova, playing with your dolls. Well, let's just say that that moment is right here. And you can talk about the moment that you played with these dolls and you noticed that the dolls had the same clothing, and so you had to get creative. And in the creativity, you can come back and to center stage and speak to the audience. But then when COVID comes, you can create this world of COVID over here. And there are other parts of your speech when you're making the speech that when you're describing a house, or you're describing the school, or you're describing Spelman, they all can take place on different parts of the stage. Sometimes you can use a prop, like a chair, which really would be a set piece. You could use a prop, like a doll. These things are very effective when it comes down to speaking. But because you're behind the podium, you could make, at home in Cordova, we would play with these dolls. You could shift your body just to kind of give a sense of contrast from when you're talking to the audience, kind of like what I'm doing right now. And then you can come back and address us. When you go to that place where you're talking about COVID, you can still come back to the home, but you can also, you can slow down your talk, as we talked about, because of what COVID did to time. When you talk about Spelman can be on this side of the stage, where you can see it, where your sister sees all these things that she's excited about, getting more ideas of being a fashion designer. So anyway, stagecraft. Stagecraft gives you an opportunity to be more than just a talking head, where you can use your body to help bring us into the story.